looks weird. Why does it look like that? The mic working. It's not supposed to be. Alright. Think that's looking good. Move you up there a little bit. You're a little bit down. What's going on? Those who are here. You going good? Yep, yep. So it's been a little while since I could, well, one, since I've been on this. And two, it's been a little while since I got to paint my own stuff. So I figured I'd do my Terminator Captain from my Leviathan. I'm looking forward to doing him, really. I took him off of the, I didn't really take him off because he wasn't attached, but I decided not to, put him on the big dead Tyranid that he normally has, just because I just felt like that would be a little bit too odd of basing compared to what the rest of his brothers are gonna have. But first, gonna play with an airbrush. Get this bad boy primed, boring stuff. Get the light brush. It hands all up in the. All right, there we go. Oh, that'll do. All right. All right. Bad boy primed. Every little nook and cranny possible. I've been spending the last couple months just doing nothing but basic level paint jobs. So let's see if I can even still paint anything more high-end. Make sure I haven't gotten too rusty. Alright. Good. Oh. Spot right there. Spot there. And let's get it all up in here just for good measure. Now, getting his cape is going to be a pain because I know what I want. But trying to get that is going to be a struggle. I just want the inside of the cape to be a bone color. Now, obviously, I'm probably not going to get him to completion in this stream, but screw it. Whenever I do him, I'll probably be during stream, just so that way anyone who wants to watch can watch him come to life. And shoot, I forgot one very important thing in the other room. Something I am gonna need. How's that airbrush? Get more handles. I gotta run in the other room and grab something. The airbrush. Right, 1 minute. Grab something quick. All right. I had a feeling I'd forget something before time prepping. But yeah, kind of need to be able to clean out the airbrush. Especially if I'm going to swap colors. Waiting on the cleaner to come in. I don't know what happened to our cleaner. So in the meantime, I guess I'll discuss more on exactly what I'm trying to do with this guy. I'm going to be painting him as a blood raven for the rest of my army. And honestly don't see very many people painting, you know, blood raven. Some might see a lot. I could be wrong, but I personally don't see that much. Nope. There. All right. So I'm going to be trying to use some special little techniques with the airbrush that I've been, well, haven't been practicing. I was practicing a few months ago when I did a Dreadnought. But I really liked how it came out. The only issue I've been having with painting my Blood Ravens is getting the red to be right. I've had to play around like several different reds just to get it right. I used to just use corn red, but like I don't know if they changed it at some point, but it is not the same as it once was. So now I'm having to use like a mix of reds in order to get things right. Right? Alright, so now that he's all nice and primed black, looking good, I'm actually gonna throw airbrush on a little bit of Mephiston red. Wait, that's Evil Sun Scarlet. Whoops, hit me. Mephiston red. See, got that. Totally, first time. Flow improver. Found putting, say, Mephiston red over him with this other red that I got, which I will show when I get to it, seems to get the initial base color down. At least last time I painted it. Oh, yo, what up, Vince? Good to see you here. Paint with markers? Huh. Why is it coming out like that? I just cleaned this thing. There we go. Okay. So is that like how you usually paint their like Gundam kits and such, and your Zoids and all that? I know you said you don't really do that much. You don't really have to paint those that much, but when you do, I think I remember you mentioning that at one point or another. Alright, piston red. I want the little inner panels there to still show that they're red, but I don't want to hit them too hard. I want to keep some of the black in there. Because they're, you know, in the dark crevices, shadowed and all that. Oh, what? Oh, that might be why. Needle was not in all the way. That might have something to do with it. Oh yeah, that was why I was acting funny. Oh, my custom unit, and it was a mess, I think, due to lack of sanding and primer. Well, I don't know how those models come out. I don't really have much experience with them, but so I don't know about the whole sanding part unless it was 3D printed. If it was 3D printed, then yeah, sanding definitely important because you can fine tune it as much as you want, and it can help, in my experience. But sanding definitely helps it look better. And primer, that's a given. Yeah, primer is really important for making sure that the paint actually sticks to the model. And also, depending on what color you use, acts as a good undercoat. There's one thing you'll notice, that even if you put a good paint job on something, but you didn't prime it beforehand, you'll find that paint, like, just a little swipe of your finger, or just a little tiny scrape, and it'll all come right. It still can come off, even if you do use primer, if you don't, like, clear coat it. But, I actually like how that looks. I don't want to use that other red. It looks brighter on camera than it does in person. Because the light's lower. Actually, I'm going to take this opportunity and try to brighten up some edges with a harder coat of Mephiston. I'm tempted to bring out the Evil Sons, just to add even more. Yeah, I guess he does look like that, doesn't? Like he went off one of those like top, like really high up roller coasters that goes straight down, and it splashes into water. Well, except this time it was blood for the blood god. Bells for the skull throne. No, actually, the way that red looks, I might actually gotta work with that here. because I'm wanting to give him a more darker look. Really like how the red on the chest plate looks. Really liking that. There's some stuff I'm going to be hand painting that would make sense for me to airbrush, but especially if I get the red to a point where I really like it, I don't want to risk getting anything on it that might screw it up. And if there's stuff on them that makes them look kind of dirty, well, even the better, because I'm trying to go for a slightly grimdark style here. Right still, but see, right now I'm just noticing some things that's kind of throwing me off of my original plan, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Alright. It looks so much brighter on the camera, but I think I can fix that. Yeah, we do actually have a little compressor right down here at my feet. It's only like, say, maybe like 12, 15 inches long. A little mini compressor. Typically, ideally, we have a like a little booth with a fan on it and a filter to like keep the paint from going everywhere. But most acrylic paints, when we did some research, most acrylic paints aren't really all that toxic. So we still prefer to have the fans, but it's not, you know, our health isn't in danger. What am I doing? All right. All right. Anything else I want to do? The Mephisto. Boy. No, I don't think so. I'm not too worried if I go a little overboard in some areas, because I do have a way of darkening things again, should I need them to be. So, actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit, and then I'm probably going to swap to Evil Sons, which is a brighter red, and try to... Beth Bell, like the stream. Thanks, you, Beth. I appreciate that. We here at Mini Freak Studios appreciate all support. Okay, let me up. Basically, I'm trying to make the edges. And thank you, Vince, for the follow. We appreciate that as well. I'm hoping to be on camera a lot more often. Yes, red. That is the color of the Mini Freak Studios. We live with red. We bathe in red. We are red. All right. I think I'm satisfied. What? I have kind of a love-hate relationship with airbrushes. I love what they can do. I love how they speed up the process, because trying to do all that by hand would take freaking hours. Especially my newer one here. I got the little Squidmar, I don't remember the actual name of the airbrush itself. I just know it's one of the newer Squidmar ones. I'll show in a second. One of the newer Squidmar ones, like, still got paint all over it, obviously, it needs to be cleaned, but one of my favorite things about it is the fact that it has this little setting here, little, like, dial, and it can, like, change depending on what you're trying to do, and it basically helps guide how far you pull back the trigger. Like 3 right here, that's for, like, fine detail and all that, if you're trying to, like, hit something small. I'm still learning when it comes to that, though, because, like, I gotta mess with, like, the pressure of the compressor as well. All right, scrub out what's in there, and then switch to a slightly brighter red. I guess it's not slightly brighter. That's something we're gonna be a little bit more sparing with. All right. Come here, you. All right. I want to thin it a little bit more than I did before, too. So, popping flow improver in there, along with some thinner. Not going crazy here. And then now, we are going to Evil Sun Scarlet. We're getting dangerous. I can get the cap off. There we go. Oh, shoot, got paint on my hair. Haven't even had this hoodie a year yet. Don't wear fancy clothes to the paint studio. You will get paint all over. There's days where I feel like I'm wearing the paint more than the miniatures are. Alright, we look good. Alright. Alright. Now, with this brighter red, I am going to just go for the tips of things. Just the tips. I don't want things super bright. Just the edges. Sometimes airbrush can get a little finicky when you're trying to do this sort of thing. Oops, lost me, bud. I'll get that in a moment. Should be good. There we go. That's what I want. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're really starting to see the more brighter spots. Thank you, Dustin, for liking the stream. I appreciate that. We'll save some red paint for you. Now we get to the back. And just sometimes when blowing really fine like that, it gets stuck on the needle. Gotta wipe or blow it off. Right. Let's see here, where else? It makes that look brighter, doesn't it? But that's all right. All right. Plus, things will start to look more right once I start getting, you know, the darker golds and the bone color in there, as well as the blacks. Yeah, that's how our red's looking so far. I might still do what I was planning to do initially, just not to the high of a level that I was originally planning. Just because, no need. No need. Get the red out of this bad boy, because, unless something goes wrong, well, I'm done with the red portion of the airbrushing. There we go. Yeah, I need a proper cleaning later. But yeah, so I'm gonna do a little bit of what I call airbrush shading. I am using the Null Oil. It's basically like a really watered down black. I'm gonna apply it very sparingly with some flow improver. out of the airbrush. And we're going to see what happens. Get this thing open. There we go. Alrighty, in you go. All right. All right. Yep. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do little flicking motions from the brighter areas down into the darker areas with arm oil. And it will help not only kind of, you know, ease off on the brightness of the brighter spots a little bit, but it'll also help it, hopefully, look like it's just seamlessly blending into it. Yes, sometimes here at Mini Freak Studios we paint ourselves just as much as we paint the models. Honestly, I got this to work on that Dreadnought. This is honestly my first time trying this technique on anything smaller. So far, I think it's going well, though. At least I'm rather pleased with it so far. What I like to do is I like to basically just do rounds across each particular spot that's brighter on the model, and I basically do laps around it until I get it where I want it to be. Not too worried about doing too much because I can always go back to the red and bring it back up. Not only does it make it look like, you know, it's seamlessly changing, transitioning from bright to dark, but also helps make the brighter areas pop out more and the darker areas pop out more too. Hey, look at it. And yeah, I won't lie, I'm honestly pretty happy with that red. Camera does make it look brighter than it does in person, but even then, I'm quite pleased. So yeah, I'd say I'm quite happy with that. I think we're concluded with the airbrushing portion of this model. Well, not fully. There is still some airbrushing that I'll be doing later down the line of it. But for now, I think it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. So what I'm probably going to do, the next part I'm going to do is something that I would like to also do through airbrush, but I'm probably not going to, just because I don't want to risk messing the red up too bad. And I don't want to risk messing it up with masking either. Is I'm going to start doing all the bone. Good state. Let's see about the rest. Gee, oh, whoops. Oh. And with that, little cup popped off, fell on the floor. All right. Oh, hey, now. Don't need none of that. You can quiet down now, Mr. Professor. I'll wake you when I need you. Alrighty, so here we are. Pop off my wet palette. And of course we got these bots in here. That's not what I want. Is we're going to start by going over all the areas that we want bone with some rock hearth flesh. Yeah, they're really annoying. This one time I had 3 different bots, not here, but on my one personal channel, come in and just it was 3 different bots, but they all spammed the same message. I find them funny because like they seem like they're trying so hard to try to convince you that no, I'm a person. I'm a person. Please listen to me. I'm a person. Alright, so I'm going to start with the shoulder pads here. Give that a nice coat. Now it's going to look a little off at first, but that's just because, especially with these kinds of, with these particular colors, you usually want to do like maybe 1 or 2 coats. It'll start to look much better once second coat's applied. I'm not worried about getting anything on the little shield crest things they got, because that's going to be a whole different color entirely. Yeah, like, what's that bot's name? Tactful Smattering W? What's that even mean? Tactful Smattering. How do you tactfully smatter something? What does it mean to smatter something? But that's okay. I'd rather it be thin and need another coat than too chunky and just completely messed up. Because one's easier to fix than the other. Alright, now here's a scary thing. Probably going to be the scariest part of this miniature is doing the inside of the cloak here. Because that's going to also be a bone color, which I'm going to see if I can't get that over with. Because I don't want to mess up my red that I worked so hard to get right. Oh, off camera there. Whoops. My fault. Still got to get used to this. Especially getting it like in between his legs here, because that's going to be hard to get an angle. There we go. Because, yeah, trying to get in there. Yeah, apologies if I go quiet for a second. I'm just, really not wanting to mess up my red. But if I can get this done with. There's one thing I'm going to be doing with an airbrush that involves in here, but I'm not so worried about getting that on as I am this. Which I will explain when I get to that point. And one thing I'm also gonna paint with the Rakar's flesh is all the purity seals on them. Because we found that Rakar's flesh gives off quite a decent parchmenty color. This doesn't help that I'm using kind of an old, beat up, kind of sprawled out brush. Because I am due to get some new ones. Alright though, these ones have served me well. These old Vallejo brushes. Not bad quality for the price. Back up to the shoulders and start getting the next coat on those. Hope we will notice it looking a lot smoother this time around. Another coat after this one probably wouldn't hurt. But it is definitely getting there. I just noticed those purity seals right there. I'll get those in a moment. I just noticed something. Nope. Okay, I think that I can take. And again, not worried about getting red on the little shield things. Those are going to be something else entirely. They're dry. While they're up there drying, I shall move back to the cape. Now, Rackhearth flesh is not the color that these are actually going to be. This is just an undercoat. To make it so when I put their actual color on, it'll go on a lot more quickly and a lot more smoothly. There's one thing I've learned is that undercoats can make or break a color. Especially if you're working with brighter colors. You don't want to just slam the bright yellow bone or white onto a dark surface. You want to build up to that. Otherwise, it's going to look god-awful. Or it's going to take forever to get to look right. Go, we are getting there. We are making progress. Oh, I'm off camera. Oops. When I get to weird angles, my hands tend to wander. Don't take that out of context, please. patience is one of the keys. Starting to get a bit more here. There we go. Already, it seems like he has a little bit more life than he did just a second ago. Now, moving on to what actual color is going to be used. Oops. No. Doing some bone. Now this is what it's actually going to be. Well, the shoulders and the inside of the cape anyway. Well, now this is also going to be applied fairly thinly and still going to want a few coats. Definitely one of the more time consuming. May have thinned it a little bit too much. But with the Rekarth flesh underneath it, it'll complement it a whole lot better than just that red if I tried to put it just on right away. That's a little... There we go. While those dry, I'll get started on the cape. So far, I have not hit the red, which I'm pleased with myself. That's sometimes something I still end up doing. One of the reasons I was a little nervous. Oh, my head's getting all up in the way. Go. Alright, you've moved dried up enough. I will start putting on your next coat. Before we know it, those signature bone-colored pauldrons of the blood ravens will start to come to life. Doing that. Such a good position. There we go. Patience is really important with this stuff, because if I start trying to put another coat on too soon when the previous coat hasn't fully dried yet, you can end up ripping paint off, which causes all sorts of problems. Getting the cape between his legs is a struggle. Especially trying to get a good angle that still lets, everyone else see. I'm not sure what his plan is for today, since I technically started streaming earlier than I normally would. Because hopefully every morning is when I will be on here streaming painting this guy, and when he's done, something else. And once I'm done, the plan is to have our main host, my good old dear brother, will continue the plastic fun. Yeah, especially with like the bone, it can look really chunky if you apply it too thickly or too fast over wet coats. But as long as you're patient and keep it thin, you should be able to apply however many coats you need to get it looking right. And sometimes it takes a few, even with the Red Hearth undercoat. Cape is almost at a state where I'm happy. Hoping to get the tedious and time-consuming part out of the way first. Give that a little bit of time to dry yet. This side of the cape. He's slowly but surely getting there. Play it nice and gentle. You can see on the inside of his legs, it looks like it's not quite as smooth as I would like. I'm gonna go in there. Going in, folks. Ah. Nerve-wracking going in there, but so far, our red is intact. And that is what I cared about most. Shoulder pads again. Like they're ready for their next coat. Oh, jeez, I feel like I'm so far up. Alright. So far, looking good. One more pass on the inside. Okay. Now, I'm noticing there's a few other things of parchment and all that that I didn't hit with the Reckhearth Fletch. My first time around. But that's okay, because I will be coming back to them. Alright. I think I'm good. Alright. Well, yeah. Our left shoulder pad. Looking alright. I think our right shoulder coat. Okay. We'll move on to the next color. All right. So, how he's looking so far. Slowly but surely. I say we work on some of the black. What do you say? Since that's gonna be another real big part. So we're just gonna go with good old Abaddon black. Yeah, if it wants to come off. And I'm gonna be doing the other side of his cape, as well as the casing of his little storm bolter. And probably a little bit of his undersuit. Little joint areas that you can see, like here. Which he appears to only have maybe one or two that are exposed. So I probably won't have to do too much of that. His gun casing. I'm gonna get this out of the real big thing that we're gonna be painting black is gonna be the other side of his cape. Because, you know, captains gotta have their capes. Actually, I should paint the the magazine black too. Also, fun fact, this is first time streaming with the new little stream setup. I was given the opportunity to break it in. Alright. That. The big old Kate McGee. This is why I would have liked to do this with an airbrush, but I didn't want to risk messing up the red. Some later stuff with it, I'll probably still attempt with the airbrush. Probably not going to go for too much longer here. I got some other stuff I got to work on. Probably go for, like, say, another 30 minutes. Before I call it. I got commission work to do. Nook right there. Most challenging parts is usually trying to get areas where one object meets another. In this case, little spot there where the cloak ends and the armor begins. What's there we go. Oop. Let that dry. Spots on there that are going to need another coat. Check gun casing. Yep. Already getting black on that cape is making it look a hell of a lot better. We get those little nooks. Armor. That I'm gonna use my still kind of sprawled out, but not nearly as much, and smaller brush. A little guy here. Boop, boop. The one's right there. That one, his arm's bent. Oh, you can't see. spots here on the bottom of the cape. Alright, swapping to big boy again. Spots here where red's still showing through. Alright, 20 minutes left. Okay, what can I knock out in 20 minutes? You know what? Oh, here's one thing I was hoping to get done. One of the best parts is the gold, or the really dark brass. Because I just feel like things like brass scorpion on the filigree and all that looks better on the Blood Raven's color scheme than, like, Retribution. I just always felt like it was way too bright. Using the smaller brush for this one, just because of where these little areas are located, and we're going to be doing all like little decorative stuff like the eagle and iron halo and like his crux terminatus. And this little thing. Sorry, I keep getting the thing out of the model out of camera and my head poking in. Still not quite used to the setup, and it's also been a while since I painted on stream. Not trying to make excuses, but just yeah. It's been a minute. Little ammo casings inside the gun. Yeah, I'm getting black all over, getting brass all over the black. It's okay. Black is easier to fix than the red would be. But I'm not too worried about it. Speaking of which, now for the scary parts. Which I'm... maybe this will help. Now, getting this stuff done is one of the main things that I feel like starts making him come to life. especially for Space Marines. You know they love their filigree. Not as much as Chaos Marine, but they do. I'm just remembering one thing, well, two things technically, that I forgot to paint black. Oopsie daisy. Do the Mephiston fix that? Should be able to. Yeah, once, like, you know, chest eagle and all that get golded. That alone adds a lot. Do that eye. There we go. Fancy stuff on his sword. The guard and the pommel. Here we go. Looking good. Did I miss it? That is our gold filthy. You get a darker gold, more of a dark brass or bronze color, just because I always thought that looked the Blood Raven scheme. Oh, no, hold on, I'm not done. I missed a couple little corners on his Terminatus here. Actually, no, I'm not done. There's a whole other thing I need to get still. And that's little guards on his shoulder. Normally these are black, but since he's a captain, I'm making them gold as well. Left this, and then I'm going to go back to black and do those two things that I missed. And then I'm going to call it there because I gotta go get to work. Right, so Yeah, and I haven't decided exactly on what little patterns I want to do on the little shield crests things. That'll be something I'll figure out. Oh. Thank you, Brian, for liking us. I appreciate that. That makes me feel all goody in my shoes. I myself am about to call it here in just a few minutes. But hopefully, assuming something else hasn't come up, the show will not be over. The main attraction will be on. When my brother takes to the camera. The true mini freak. Who's paper towel? Okay. Trying to keep it on the mat because it's easier to wipe on it without it dragging. Otherwise, I need both hands. Oh, okay. I'm about to call it here in 4 minutes. You gonna be doing a stream as well? Or will that be that? Alright, cool. Well, there's confirmation right there from the man himself. The man himself. Gonna be doing it. Doing it to it. See if I can't squeeze. Oh shit, there's a little thing right there. Getting the last of these little parchments. the shoulder. Missed the sides. And I just noticed one other little thing. Oopsie daisy. Listen now. Get the little gold filigree at the end of this. Done. Oh. Already. It already looks like a lot of life has been breathed into him already. Alrighty. That's where I'm leaving off with him for now. I should be back on him tomorrow morning, if things continue as planned. So I will set us to be right back, and then eventually the true mini freak will be here soon. Appreciate everyone coming and hanging out, though. I will see you.